Evening, everybody. What a great day it is so far. I am Matt Bressington. You're on the ELF Live YouTube channel. I'm here with Jarvis McClam, but just before Jarvis, I just want to say how much more. Do you ever just feel like the sun is just shining a bit brighter? You know, your coffee in the morning tastes a little bit better. Everything just smells of the British cold air, just feels homely to you. Do you ever feel like that? Is that just me?
Yeah, that might be just you, man.
It might just be. Maybe it was the people in the chat. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are. We are here to break down the weekend of games for the ELF. And like our little beautiful bottom here by producer Lucas comes up, lots of unexpected surprises in week 4. There was a ton of games to talk about, and we will talk about all of them. We're talking about the players of the week as well. The MVP will allocate that throughout. So make sure to stick around for the whole show. But I didn't even ask, how rude of me to ask. Jobs, how are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm not having a fantastic day like you, but I'm still good, man. Great games this weekend. I can't wait to talk about them, and let's do it, man.
Here we go. Let's get into the first one of the weekend. German rivalry game that may be potentially brewing over the next coming seasons. The Berlin Thunder versus the Hamburg Sea Devils. They see the score 31-14 in favor of the home side. My immediate thought on this, Jarvis, was just this was entirely a much more comfortable game for Tado Torvaloga to come into, build a bit of momentum. He seems like a momentum quarterback for me, a guy that needs maybe a good play or a good game coming into the weeks after. Feels a lot better, plays a lot more confident. What was your thought on this one?
Yeah, just like you said, man. It's definitely hard to jump straight from the plane to get on the field. It's definitely tough. You definitely need a few weeks to gel with your guys, some more practice reps, and as you can see, it worked for him. And then they had a good game, man. They actually put 30 points on the scoreboard on the Berlin Thunder. And as you can see, the rain was coming down real hard, and they were not scared to throw the ball. So I like that from the Sea Devils.
I mean, I'm so glad you said about throwing the ball. Oh my goodness, Berlin Thunder, 60 pass attempts just by them alone. The most I can recall, whenever I'm looking at scouting receivers, DBs, anything, I always like to watch them against Berlin Thunder at the moment because they just throw the ball so much. It gives me such a great sample size to get plays off of. So, my goodness, a lot of people have drawn criticism, though, Jarvis, about how much they are reliant on this passing game. Sullivan did get 4 interceptions.
Yep.
That is only 2 less than the total rushes they had in that game from non-quarterbacks. What do you think Berlin need to do about their run game? Do you think they need it to succeed, or do you think they can maybe try and make a championship run in the future with just such a heavy pass?
You definitely need a run game to succeed in this game. You can't just go off of just passing the ball because teams are going to key on that and just take that away from you. Just drop 8 every time. So you definitely need a run game to be successful in this league.
Absolutely. Just want to give a shout out to Rising Rhino on his first year with the ELF. My goodness, you picked a good one. This must have been such a competitive one. But Hamburg came out on top with a solid performance, and this is good for them. Gets up to 2-2 and moves ahead of someone else in the division, which we'll get to later in the show. But our second game, another one that was highly anticipated. Maybe more by a certain other fan base, but we have the Raiders Tyrrell playing the Vienna Vikings. This is an Austrian derby, but some people, including our friend in the chat here, Jamal Clay, is starting to not even call it a rivalry so far because the Vienna Vikings is 7-0 against the Raiders in the ELF. I believe I was basing this off the Battle of Austria that Lefpedia had on their page. I think this is the biggest loss they've ever had in the ELF to their competition within their country. You're the Raiders. You're a former Raider player.
Yep.
How are they feeling with this one?
I know right now they are sad. No one's talking right now. Everyone's geared in for the next week. They don't even want to think about this, but they definitely had a tough day. I mean, as you can see, like Ben Holmes is all over the place. And I think the only problem the Raiders have is the Vienna Vikings. That is their only problem. And they're going to be all right. They will be successful in the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if what a damn problem it was. I mean, Ben Holmes, 5 touchdowns until that long rushing touchdown, so 6 for him on the day. And then Noah Torre, his ceiling is so damn high. I mean, we were all hyped for him when he came in from Salzburg last season. Ended up being with the Rookie of the Year race the whole way through. he is such a phenomenal player. He gets a hat trick today, this weekend with 3 touchdowns and just a touch over 100 yards. With the Raiders, I think everyone knew they were going to be a little bit more uncomfortable on offense this week. Of course, had QB issues because of injury. They bring in Cozy, short notice, like you said about Talia, and like I've said about Talia, coming in to play the Vikings defense might just be maybe a little bit harder than playing the Surge defense. So I'm going to give you the would you rather. If you're a quarterback, who are you choosing to play that first game against?
I don't know, man. It's tough, but if I had to pick, I'll probably just say Vikings. Just to pick one. Just to pick one.
Okay, I can respect that. They finished with a 41-7 dismantling, I would argue, of the Raiders' Tyrrell, and they take themselves to 4-0, the undefeated Vienna Vikings. Next up, though, Madrid Braavos with an equally impressive performance against the Verheerwaard Throners. They finished with a big win. Honestly, I think this section just be the Reed Sinnott and Aaron Cruikshank section of the show, because those two guys, man, they're lighting this league up like a Christmas tree. Both of these guys have never played in Europe, by the way, which is wild to see. You look at Sinnott's stats, he finished with 6 touchdowns, over 400 yards. Cruikshank with 236 and 2. The crazy thing is, Cruikshank didn't even play really in the second half. So we could have had a receiver break the all-time receiver record, which is, I believe, ELF Peter, have to quote me on this one, held by Robitaille at 276. So that was a brutal one. In Thrones full for another one. What's your thoughts and feelings on this game?
I think Sinnott and Cruikshank is the best duo in this league right now. They are constantly showing it every day. I mean, every week, week in, week out, they're showing you that, hey, they got it figured out. Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and they're going to do it at their will. So I think Aaron and Reed Sinnott, they're going to be fine in this league, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe even could be an early MVP favorite, an early Offensive Player of the Year favorite. I think for Cruikshank especially, because I think he's got like 200 yards in the last 2 or 3 games in a row, which is incredible to watch. But he's been phenomenal. They finished with a 45-7 victory in Hungary. And that was our Saturday games. We get to go into my favorite game of the weekend, which I'm not going to try and act like I'm not a little bit biased on this one. My Prague Lions versus the Vosa Panthers. Now, I'm going to let you start with this one, Jarvis, because I've got a lot of thoughts and emotions. I want to take up all the screen time. So I'll let you get your thoughts and feelings out, and then I'll overrun it a little bit if you don't mind.
I know everyone wants to hear Matt talk, so I'm going to keep mine nice, short, and sweet. As you can see, the Prague Lions put up 45 points on the Panthers. It was actually crazy to see this game. I actually picked the Panthers to win this game, and I was really surprised how the Prague Lions came out. They played all 4 phases of the game, and they came out great with energy, and they were ready for the whole game. So, Matt, it's up to you now.
I'm glad you passed me the reins. And we start with Javarian Smith, a very effective, efficient performance by him. Didn't really put a foot wrong, just played what he needed to do. A lot of people like you when you got a certain amount of stats. We got the win, got 2 touchdowns and played well. Zuzelka is the Prague Lions, in my opinion. He is like the epitome of what you think of when you think of a Prague Lion. He's tough, he's physical, he runs hard, he loves this team. If anyone deserves this win of that period with the Prague Lions, it's him. So I'm super, super happy for Zuzelka. Willie P, what a performance by him. Hard to really argue against this guy being in our MVP race of the week. 5 touchdowns overall, 107 yards receiving, 2 of those touchdowns with his hands, 2 of them with his feet, and another one with the punt return. Guilford, 2 interceptions, very well done by him. Danik deserves a shout out. He was fantastic, multiple sacks in a day. Arthur Kingdom, the fellow Brit, someone I've watched for years, and his development as a linebacker has just gone through the roof. Blocked field goal, interception, phenomenal performance by him overall. One thing I've talked a lot about, Jarvis, is the special teams. This was a masterclass on how to dismantle the Vosa Panther special teams. I think we're going to see a lot of people implement this into their strategies.
Yep.
They're punting the ball high. They're not even giving Devin Burrell a chance to get that ball because it makes sense, right? He's the best returner the league's ever seen.
Yep.
If you're punting it high, you're restricting the amount of space he has. He's going to call for a fair catch. He's going to get frustrated, which he did. He then had his 1 punt return, which he ended up fumbling at the end of the game. This special teams win, because he also got reminder, blocked kick, and also a return on the punt, was an absolute phenomenal display. This is my Prague Lions. There's so many players I could shout out, but the Panthers overall didn't do enough. Rushing game was poor. Passing game threw 3 interceptions. Granted, one of them wasn't necessarily DJ's fault because it hit off the hands of a receiver. And their defense just kind of got shredded, to be honest. This, for me, was a very, 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 very good win for them. And there's a ton of people that are happy for them. This is how you do a rebuild, Jarvis, right?
Yep.
This is how you do a rebuild.
For real, you're right.
Absolutely. This is a great game. We could go on all day, but the Prague Lions finished with 45-13 victory against the Vosa Panthers. They moved to 500, most wins ever in an ELF season for the Prague Lions. Would you look at that? That's a wonderful one. I love saying that. That's a great one. Moving into one of the games of the week, very highly anticipated, Paris Musketeers versus Ryan Fire. I picked Ryan. You picked Paris. This was not close though, like at all. Talk to me.
Hey man, as you can see, what's his name? Jalen Henderson. Hey, he came out. I know some people have been hating that. Hey, he might not be ready to play. Is he good enough for the ELF? And as you can see here, he proved his status. He's ready to play. He can play amongst the big guys, and he got the job done, man.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's defense. I think you'd struggle to find someone who wouldn't have this defense as the best in the league.
Yeah.
Even Glenn Tonga showing Paris some love. They just are so dominant. I know this isn't the same Ryan Fire as we had last season, but 68 passing yards and like no running back really doing that great either. Multiple fumbles. The offensive line didn't look great either. Receiving wise, highest was Starker with 33. They got dismantled by this Paris defense. It really was like a phenomenal display by them. The run game finally came in for Paris. We've been waiting for it to supplement Jalen Henderson's ability, and that came in. Tekadam is just continuing to prove why he's a potential superstar in this league. Cadell King, what a comeback. Degan Gomez, just such a versatile playmaker. Karamoka, what an addition as well to this Paris defense. Are they now? So they've finished their gauntlet. If you remember, they played like Ryan both times. They've had the Galaxy, they've had the Surge. To come out of that 2-2, is this now the best team in the league potentially in terms of like form or in terms of like what they could be? Because they've done a damn good job of coming out 2-2 in this one.
Yeah, for sure. If you look at the schedule, like they could be the best team in the league because, like you said, they already got through the toughest teams already. Now they're on the lighter end, but still they have to still show up day in, day out to show that the Paris Musketeers are here to play and we mean business. So they still have to show up.
They absolutely do, but to put on 31 points away against the Ryan Fire is certainly spectacular. They go 2-2. Ryan Fire negative record for the first time since their inaugural year in the ELF. That's wild. 2 games lost this year is more they've lost in the last 2 seasons combined, by the way. Incredible by them. And they finish off with a 31-7 victory in the Ryan Fire's back garden, which is very, very upsetting for very, very many Ryan fans. Moving into another game which had maybe a predictable scoreline as well, but honestly, kind of expected more from Galaxy. I'm not going to lie. I'll let you take the reins on this one to start because I'm maybe going a bit of a rant. I know the Galaxy are waiting for me to do that. So,
I mean, you say you expected more. I mean, 47 points is a lot, man. Like, you can't be mad with 47 points. Maybe you're upset, not really upset, but how they did it, how they scored the points, or the lack of points. You think they should have scored more, but 47 points is great for our offense. I think McKay played okay. The receivers did their job, and the Galaxy, they look good. As you can see, they did play Cologne, but hey, 47 points is a big win in the book.
You are right. Like, maybe I'm being harsh because me and the Galaxy have a love-hate relationship, of course, but this is what I'm thinking, right? It's my purely just looking at the stats, looking at some of the tape. This is not a good Cologne team. There's maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 guys that I'm even keeping on this Cologne team if I'm the GM, maybe into next year. To throw an interception and to allow multiple sacks and also fumble the ball a few times is kind of unacceptable.
Yeah.
In terms of inflation, allowing 15 points against Cologne is like allowing 50 to like a Ryan Fire that you're going to have to play throughout the year. Like, this was I don't want to let the defense. They did play phenomenal. I had them in my
Yes.
fantasy football team, so they kind of rescued me this week. Multiple. I highlighted Toby Nader, if you remember. He got his pick six, and then multiple other defensive scores. So they did do well. It was mistakes. Maybe it was just kind of make a overconfidence potentially, and they just made a few mistakes. Some people are going to think it's not that deep, which sure, but I'm just thinking critically that in the second half they were not as comfortable as potentially they should have been.
So, man, I got a question for you. How do
Mm.
you think they're using Terry Wright? Do you think he's getting the ball enough, not getting the ball at all? Like, what do you think?
I like Jamal says, free Terry Wright. Like, why are they not giving him the ball more? I'm not sure if it's like you'll be able to speak to this a lot more as a receiver. It doesn't look like he has a major connection with McKay at the moment. Could just be like they just haven't gelled as much, or maybe because he hasn't had as many targets, or maybe he's hurt. I don't know. But we have not seen much of Terry Wright at all. And I was really excited about him to come in. He's a former Philly star, like a lot of players have been in the ELF. I really thought he would be able to like shine a lot more than he has. Because what do you get? Let me just quickly chat. I think he got 2 catches for 6 yards.
Definitely a tough day for him. A tough day, man.
Yeah, but like 2 catches. I think what? All right, let me spin your question back
Okay.
to you. If you're an American receiver, which you have been in this league, and you're getting 2 catches for 6 yards, are you demanding the ball more?
Of course. Of course, man. You'll see me on the sideline saying what I have to say. I'm gonna ask for the balls. I'm not here for no reason. But but if we're winning, I'm not gonna say anything. That's the thing.
Okay, well, what give us an insight while I look for just a seasonal stats, the kind of the stuff you would be saying because
Hey man, hey, I gotta keep it. Hey, I can't say too much, man. I can't say too much, but as a receiver, definitely like you come over here, you expect the ball. Like, hey, you might be the number one receiver. You're gonna want the ball most of the time, and if you don't get it, it's okay. But at the same time, if your team is down and you don't get the ball, I will be mad. But if you're winning and you don't get the ball, it doesn't matter. No, I'm saying for me, it does not matter at all. But yeah, man, I know
no,
how he's feeling, and I think they're going to get over the hump because still takes time. It's still early in the season. He might have a better back half, so you never know.
he could potentially. I'm looking at his
Yeah,
numbers at the moment. He has 8 catches for 101 yards.
that's for the season.
Yes, for the season. Yeah.
Oh man.
If I'm him, I'm furious,
Yeah,
and I don't want to sow seeds of discontent within the galaxy, but I'd be furious.
yeah,
But they got the win. That's what matters most, and
yeah.
that was the penultimate game of the weekend with a big 47-15 victory at home against the Centurions. The last game, this one was exciting as well. This one maybe a bit of a potential comeback, just maybe lost to history. Stuttgart Surge against the Munich Ravens, another team that is that both of these guys look like playoff teams, I think, and we saw kind of an insight maybe into the future of the playoff system with these two guys. What was your thoughts on this one?
I thought the Ravens played well, and I feel like they started a little bit too late. As you can see, as the game was going on, they finally picked up, they finally got their rhythm, and they were making connections down the field and running the ball well. But also, you're playing the Stuttgart Series. This team is well sound. This team flies to the ball. The defense is fast. They're physical. They're strong, and their offense is their offense. As you can see, Riley Hennessy throwing the ball, and hey, the Surge is a Surge, man.
Absolute surge is the surge, but they did. Riley very efficient and effective as we come to expect from him in this modern era. Harley very nice debut, 91 yards and a touchdown. Tommy Way, yeah, well, a bit of a slower start, but then ended up kind of working into the game to get into the first down that he really needed. Guy with a beautiful toe tap. Want to see more though of that passing game because we're not seeing a ton of the movement downfield. We're getting eventually shots downfield, but we'd like to see maybe a bit more of that. I'm being a bit nitpicky, I'll admit. This was a 3-phase win for them because, of course, we saw multiple punts blocked as well, which was big for them. This was, though, Munich, and I know Ricardo wasn't a massive fan of Munich's game, but I still think they played very well. I think Russell Tabor is showing the flashes of the new age Dak Edwards that I've compared him to. I think that Rodney is a very solid running back. You've got Malik Stanley, who's just an absolute savage, and Hassan Moore looks like an absolute like gem of a player that I knew of him a lot. I've made videos about him in the past. I knew how good he was, but he's exceeded even my expectations of him this year, and he's been phenomenal. For the Munich Ravens, they've lost against the Surge. How do they maybe retool and re-prepare for a team like Stuttgart who's going to be in the playoffs? Because they don't want to be losing too many games. It's a very tough division.
For sure. I feel like the Ravens, they're going to be fine. I mean, Coach Kendall, he's going to get them boys right. Because I feel like he's the type of coach that's like, hey, we lost the game, but look, we're going to work. We're going to put our face to the ground and we're going to get this money next week, man. So Coach Kendall is definitely going to get them boys right. So I'm not worried about the Munich Ravens at all.
You know, why do you reckon they're still a playoff team? If you're taking them above the Raiders at the moment, are you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, I know Ricardo was saying they could definitely still that win, but I'm really excited for that rematch. But there they go. Looking for a 36-28 victory. Hell of a game. Late comeback. Just falls a little bit short for Munich Ravens. Let's have a look at our collection of games. See the overall tally of results we have for this one coming in. Because there was some amazing ones. If I had to pick my favorite, it's not going to be very well hidden. My Prague Lions beating the Vosa Panthers. That's my favorite game. It was electric. It was emotional. I loved it. But what would be your favorite? And the chat as well. Let me know your favorite ones as well. We'll come together to enjoy the football.
I'll say my favorite game would have been the Munich Ravens and Stuttgart Surge, man. I like the way they played. I like the way the Ravens came back towards the end. So that would be my favorite game for the week.
I think that's reasonable. It was a great game. And it was way to cap it off at the end, which was really, really fun. But I think next week we got some good ones. But we also got to look at the current standings in the division as well, because there are a lot of things going that they're kind of shaping up a little bit after week 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starting to see some things. But what's the thing that's sticking out to you most?
The thing that's sticking out to me the most is you got, what's it called? Hamburg on top of the fire, man. You haven't seen that in a while. Or at all, have you?
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen that. Maybe I don't even know if it's alphabetical off the top of my head. That shows my British education. But like that's crazy. Now that you say it, it's like the Ryan Fire.
Yeah,
they're only shooting 33. Like that's it's a little bit crazy. I think my favorite one is probably down in that conference with the Surge, Galaxy, and Paris Musketeers. That's getting really hot because now we've got that little football triangle of everyone could beat everyone. Nordic Storm, there we go. I'm not surprised Glenn Tonga going for the Nordic Storm as his favorite team for that one. But this will bring a conclusion, to our individual game casts. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will be delegating into the offensive and defensive MVPs of the week.
New intelligent Siemens IQ 700 washing machine. Own your time. Discover it at Euronics. Oi.
There we go. Thank you to sponsor the show for keeping the lights on. I just want to point out Elefapedia Fire scoring 2 more points in Cologne so far this year. That's if you're a Fire fan, that's that's not going to feel good, is it? Jeez, that's going to feel brutal. But our citizen MVPs of the week. Here we go, Jarvis, because they've got some. This was a high one and now down to 6, wasn't it? Because there was a lot of talent. There was a lot of talent. Who is our number one? Our first representative of the league, of course, is Willie Patterson, wide receiver for the Prague Lions. Had 5 touchdowns on the day. You're going to look at the yards. You're going to think, okay, well, he did well. This doesn't include his punt return yards, but it does include that punt return touchdown. 5 in total for him on the day. Chat's already talking about him. Willie P. It's going to be hard to unseat him, right?
It's definitely going to be tough, man. 5 touchdowns is crazy.
Who's got number 2? I know. I don't think I've seen how many people have actually ever got that.
All right, so coming in at number 2, who do we have here? At number 2, who was it?
Here we go.
Arthur Kingdom here at number 2. He had a crazy day. He had a field day, actually, as you would say. He had an interception. He had a blocked field goal, and he had 3 tackle for losses. He was definitely all over the field today. And hey, I would like to see him win an MVP, but we will see later on.
Yeah, absolute baller. One of my fellow Brits loves to see him in the league making an impact. Number 3 for this is MVP. Kind of a regular fixture at the moment. Reed Sinnott. Quarterback for the Madrid Braavos. No surprise to see him mentioned in this one. 6 touchdowns, over 400 yards. An efficient, effective performance by the American quarterback on a way to a very, very smooth victory.
Yes, sir. Definitely looks smooth out there in the pocket, man.
It does look good. Ooh, nicely done.
And we have number 4. Number 4, we coming in right now with Aaron Cruikshank, man. Definitely, hey, he's probably one of my favorite receivers coming up right now. He's fast, he's speedy. Hey, he's all over the field, man. He had 8 catches, 236 yards with 2 touchdowns, man. And like his touchdowns, they're not like baby touchdowns. They're big touchdowns, man.
Mhm.
So I definitely like to see him ball, man. He's definitely a hell of a player, man.
Yeah, he's an absolute star. You're right. Just those chunk plays, he's able to not we understand. Not every receiver can make those chunk plays, but he's definitely one of them that definitely can, undoubtedly. Coming in next for MVP of the week, Ben Holmes, another regular, very regular fixture. Multiple passing touchdowns, 5 of the day, also was rushing one. A very effective performance by him in the victory in the Austrian derby. Kind of hard to argue his placement as well here. You score that many touchdowns, you're going to probably have a place on the weekly MVP race.
Mm-hmm. And next we have Noah Torre, man, number 18, big 18, young baller, but he's definitely proven himself in this league. 6 receptions, 102 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Hey, and I'm gonna put my vote up for the best touchdown celebration ever. To jump inside the pit where the motocross motorcycles jump in. That was a beautiful celebration by him, and he might get my vote, man. I don't know.
Oof, we'll see. We haven't that here's now. I'm glad you said that. We need the chat's help with some of these votes because we come in, of course. Willie P, in my opinion, I think we both agree, has to be on one of these spots. Because, like you said, we aren't the people that decide this. We decide the 2. You guys decide within 24 hours. So we'll have a story on the Instagram where you can vote for who you think is the MVP. And at the end, that'll be given. So we are not the only people to vote on this one. So make sure in the chat to let us know who you want on this 50-50 and then go vote afterwards on the ELF Instagram. I think Willie P's got to be on it, though. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. That 5 touchdowns is actually crazy, man. He got 1 at quarterback, punt return, and then at receiver going crazy. So he definitely has to be MVP of the week for voted up as the MVP.
Yeah, I think even if you want to extend that into the cultural impact of the Prague Lions to beat the Panthers, they've never beaten before ever. They come in, they put into Poland, and they put an absolute beating on the team. Of course, defensively, special teams wise did it too, but Willie P was part of the special teams victory, and he was a massive part, scoring 4 touchdowns on the offensive side. So I think that's a hard one. I think at the other candidates, I'm leaning maybe towards, and I think I'm going to go maybe for someone like Ben Holmes because the Raiders defense is tough. Or Noah Torre, can I go for either of them?
Yep.
Not enough defensive players, Glenn Tonga says. That's fair. That's fair. I think Cadell King definitely has a reasonable quote to this one, but we've got people like Willie P putting around 5 touchdowns. It's hard to really, hard to really not have him on. So that's the second spot. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna take Willie P because that's my guy. That's my Prague Lions. I'm gonna take Willie P, but this one's down to you, Jarvis.
I'm gonna have to go Ben Holmes, man. He definitely had a field day, man. He was out there doing any and everything. 6 touchdowns and 4th and 1. You only need 1 yard. He ran for a touchdown. He ran for it. Come on, who's doing that? Ben Holmes definitely is getting my vote for the MVP this week. So let's see what the chat says, man.
There we go. I'm sure everyone will be pleased with that. Also, Glenn Tonga, test my knowledge. I'm pretty sure that's Amir Kalani, number 3 for the Paris Musketeers. An absolute savage at safety. Just an absolute wreck when it comes to coming into the box. He was fantastic in that game. That being said, Willie Patterson and Ben Holmes are going to be up for the Citizen MVP of the week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this afternoon, this morning, wherever you're at, even on the relives. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Jarvis, for being my co-host. Thank you, everyone in the comment section. Thank you to Lucas in the production. Thank you to Maxi in the production somewhere, someplace. Much appreciated. See you Friday for the next installment of Your Left Live. Thank you. See you soon.